Affinity Group, ES, Inter-Society Relations, Industry Relations Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi Section, in associations of Computer Society of India, CSI Delhi Chapter, IEEE Computer Society Delhi Section Chapter, Institute of Information Technology Professionals, IITP New Delhi, IETE Delhi Section, and IEEE Computational Intelligence Society Delhi Center as technical collaborator welcomes you all today to this 117th IEEE IETE BVI CAM weekly evening technical webinar series to commemorate the first IEEE India Council Day celebrations today with this webinar on role of branding for a professional society. It is a moment of pride and honor that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasions Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, an initiative to celebrate 75 years of glorious independence, as well as contribute our bit in seeking to find practical global solutions for the benefit of all. The aim of India during its G20 presidency tenure in 2023. This webinar is also an initiative to mark both these monumentous occasions of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav as well as our G20 presidency. According to Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of Amazon, a brand for a company is like a reputation for a person. You earn reputation by trying to do hard things well. Brands are not just important for organizations, dear friends, they are also important for professional societies as they help in establishing trust among the people and creating followers by establishing the society as a leader. Today's session will also help us in understanding this interrelationship better. IEEE is the world's largest professional association dedicated to advancing technological innovation and excellence for the benefit of humanity. IEEE and its members inspire a global community through IEEE's highly cited publications, conferences, technology standards, and professional and educational activities. IEEE India Council is the umbrella organization which coordinates IEEE activities in India. Its primary aim is to assist and coordinate the activities of local sections in order to benefit mutually and avoid duplication of effort and resources. IEEE India Council was established on 28 May 1976 and is one of the 5 councils of the Asia Pacific region called Region 10 of IEEE. We are privileged to be part of today of this IEEE India Council Day celebration. It is a proud moment for all of us to commemorate the institution's inception with some of our very senior members as well as some new and young members present amongst us today to be part of these celebrations. I would first take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. I will first welcome Professor A.Q. Ansari, Chairperson IEEE Delhi Section, and Professor Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, for gracing today's occasion. I would request Professor Ansari sir to commence this session today with his welcome address.
Well, thank you very much for a very gracious introduction, and I take this opportunity to wish all the participants and the panelists a very happy Eid. Today, in this part of the world, we have celebrated Eid today, but in the part of the world where Professor Saifur Rahman belongs, they have celebrated the Eid yesterday. You know, we are a global community, a single festival being celebrated on 2 different days, because of the sun and moon movement. I mean, this really proves the globalization of our community to which we belong. And Sir Safir Rahman, sir, in India today, we have 2 different celebrations happening together. We have an Akshaya Tritiya, which is a function of the majority community. So I wish a happy Eid on the day of the Akshaya Tritiya, and also I extend the Hardik Shubhkamnaएं of Akshaya Tritiya on the day of the Eid. So the two major communities of this country have been celebrating these two functions simultaneously, and we have got the host of guests approaching our families from both the communities, and this is really something which gives a lot of hope and the happiness to the family members and to the members of the community. On this occasion, I very heartily welcome our own president, the global president of IEEE, Professor Saifur Rahman, who has been so kind to us to have accepted our invitation to join this IEEE India Council event. India Council event, this has been happening for the first time, and they have decided to celebrate the India Council Day every year, and they have dedicated this week for this purpose. So, I mean, Professor Huda, when I contacted him to organize this event, the very first name that came to his mind and request, he asked me to request Professor Saifur Rahman for his presence and gracious presence, and I requested, and he readily agreed. He has been a friend of the entire Indian community, and he cherishes, I can believe, and I have the confidence to say that he cherishes his presence in India, and that too to Jamia Millia Islamia. He has a personal friend in Jamia Millia Islamia in the form of Professor Minnie Thomas. And, very fondly, she calls him Saiful Bhai. I mean, this is something that shows the sheer closeness and the personal relationship with a person of that stature. And we at Jamia Millia Islamia cherish this relationship. Sir, welcome, sir. I mean, I would be at loss of words to say anything in your presence. And the sir has been an excellent researcher at the Virginia Tech, and he has helped many of our own students. One of our student in DTU, Delhi Technological University, Rizwan, he was there in Virginia Tech under professor, and he worked there, and he has returned back. Now I welcome Professor Shivaji Chakravarti Sahab, who has been the past chair of India Council and who also agreed to join us today to give a light and throw a light on the India Council. And he is also here. Sir, you are most welcome to this event. In fact, we are celebrating your event in Delhi. And in fact, I mean, there cannot be any better person than you to be here on this occasion.
Thank you.
I also welcome Professor K.K. Agrawal, sir, who is now the key speaker today, and he will be speaking on the role of branding. And it will be, of course, the talk will be initiated by Professor Saifur Rahman, sir, on this branding topic. For professional societies and the largest society of the world, IEEE, to which we belong, the Professor Saifur Rahman is the president. He would be also speaking on this. So I welcome Professor Agrawal, sir, who has been, our mentor in India. I cannot find anybody better than him to have been a mentor for me as well as for Professor Emin Hoda, while he was the vice chancellor, founder vice chancellor of the Indraprastha University, IP University in Delhi, and he enjoyed this position for 2 consecutive terms. And after that, he became the chairman of the National Board of Accreditation, and to which we have been all associated. And he sends me as the chairman of the expert committees all across the country to lead the team of experts for doing accreditation on behalf of NBA. So we welcome you, sir, and we would always be troubling you as long as you are there, and we pray for your good health and your wisdom to prevail upon all of us. I welcome all the participants on this occasion. Professor Subrata Mukhopadhyay, I mean, he never misses a chance to join any such event. Professor Mukhopadhyay, even though his camera is also today at fault, and we had been missing his video, but I welcome you, sir. It is all your encouragement that we have been so active in Delhi section. And the point is that whenever we make even a minor mistake, we are always corrected by him. I mean, that gives us the confidence. We do anything, we write anything with so much of confidence, knowing fully well that if we make a mistake, we will be reprimanded and we will correct ourselves. So we love this approach, and he would not minding telling the things upfront in the face of a person, even if it is Professor Bhim Singh or it is Minnie Thomas or A.Q. Ansari. So, I mean, we really cherish his presence in the section, and we take his guidance at every step. I welcome all the guests here. And as Ritika very rightly said, that the country has been celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the 75 years of independence. It is now, in fact, the year has gone. We are now into the 76th year. And on the top of it, the G20, the presidency of the G20 has come to India, and our Prime Minister, along with the entire nation, they have been in the celebrations mode. Every nook and corner of the country is full with the large hoardings of G20 celebrations. And the logo of G20, it's also inspiring the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The entire world is a family. And that, I mean, it cannot be defined in any better way than it is defined by IEEE. I mean, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this definition has truly been imbibed by the motto of the IEEE itself. And, with these few words, I mean, I welcome all the people who have joined on these 2 days of two celebrations of India, Eid as well as the Akshaya Tritiya. And I hope that the India Council celebrations will become a memorable day for us, and we will report this to the India Council. Sir, Shivaji sir, I mean, you will kindly pass on our celebrations to the India Council accordingly. And thank you very much. God bless you all. Ritika, please move on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the motivating words. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Shivaji Chakravarti, former chair, IEEE India Council, for his address.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and particularly in the presence of Professor Saifur Rahman, with whom I have worked closely for more than 20 years. Professor Subrata Mukhopadhyay, also same. I have worked with him for a very long time. Professor K.K. Agarwal, he knows me personally. So with all these dignitaries present, it is really a privilege. Although I have not personally met the director himself, but I look forward to do so. Now, I have been told to say a few words, about 5 minutes, so I won't take more than that. So, as the topic says, that role of branding for a professional society, already the compere of this program, Ms. Ritika has already talked or quoted the Amazon CEO on the branding, so I'll not go into all that. But what I would like to say is that branding is the process of creating a mark around the name of the professional society. And how do we achieve that? Of course, this is achieved by having specific strengths and messages that people remember about the professional society. And in this case, I would like to talk about IEEE India Council in particular, because there are other dignitaries like Professor Saifur Rahman who will talk about IEEE in general. The three main goals the branding achieves, to my opinion, are, in the case of a professional society, are to influence people's association to the society, in this case, IEEE India Council, to create a distinct identity of IEEE India Council, and to build loyalty over time, which is, of course, true for IEEE in general. And what I felt is that to build a brand, we should start with a self-assessment on a few pillars of activities such as connectivity, authenticity, energy, outreach, and of course, legacy. A few words about these five pillars, what I have thought about. First, let's take the connectivity. It depends on the activities of the society, and IEEE India Council's flagship program, annual flagship program is INDICON, which are becoming resounding successes in the present years. I still cherishly remember the INDICON held at Jamia Millia. And this INDICON, which started as the annual convention and exposition, or in short, ACES, but now this INDICON with its own logo is a brand which is promoting IEEE India Council. And following that success, IEEE India Council started IEEE INDISCON, which is primarily targeted to the subsections. They hold this program, and this has been started only a few years back, but already that conference is growing in stature. So they are playing a big role in the connectivity activities of IEEE India Council. Coming to the second one, the authenticity, which plays a big role in branding. And we all know that IEEE in general is known for the quality of its publications. And therefore, we must remain ever vigilant to maintain the highest technical and ethical standards of the publications coming out of IEEE India Council conferences. This is our duty, and we should not fail in performing these duties. Coming to the third aspect, energy. All professional societies thrive on the energy of the volunteers. And we are seeing that this energy, translated into the activities of IEEE India Council is increasing exponentially, as may be seen from the growth of the India Council activities and the number of volunteers involved in all these activities. It is quite heartening to note that the spectrum of the active India Council volunteers span from life members to student members. It is really heartening to note that. And then talking a little bit about the outreach, IEEE India Council is reaching out in different directions over the last decade. Special recognitions are given to outstanding women engineers in the form of awards instituted 4 years back. And already these awards are becoming highly acclaimed awards and highly sought after. This year we had outstanding nominations for this award, and it was really difficult to choose one or two out of those. But that itself shows the success of all these activities. And IEEE India Council plays a big role in disseminating information about all IEEE events in India through its e-notices, the newsletter, and of course, the website. And finally, talking about legacy, any top brand is necessarily associated with a legacy. For IEEE India Council, this legacy comes from the volunteers who have worked over the decades to make IEEE India Council what it is today. And IEEE India Council recognizes such outstanding volunteers by giving awards for contributions at the India Council level as well as at the section level. There are many other activities which can be talked about, but this may not be the forum for that. So I would stop about activities here. And I would like to finish by saying the vision which IEEE promulgates, that is advancing technology for humanity. Now, for myself, I cannot say such big things. What very humbly I can say is that the only person I should be better than is the person I was yesterday. This is the thought that gets me out of bed in the morning every day. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderfully informative words. With this, I would now like to welcome amongst us our chief guest for the day, Professor Saifur Rahman, sir. Professor Saifur Rahman, sir, is an IEEE fellow and is serving as President IEEE since January 2023. A professor of electrical and computer engineering at Virginia Tech, he is the founding director of the Advanced Research Institute at the university, which helps faculty members get access to research funding, government laboratories, and industry research centers. Sir is also the founder and chairman of BEM Controls in McLean, VA, a software company that provides buildings with energy efficient solutions. He has also served as the chair of the US National Science Foundation Advisory Committee for International Science and Engineering from 2010 to 2013. Sir is the founding editor-in-chief of the IEEE Electrification magazine and the IEEE Transactions on Sustainable Energy. He served as the 2018-2019 president of the IEEE Power and Engineering Society. While president, he also established the Corporate Engagement Program that allows employers to receive IEEE benefits by paying their employees IEEE membership dues. Sir has also set up various chapters and councils in Africa, China, India, and Latin America. These councils have empowered local leaders to initiate local programs. He has also led several efforts to establish the PES University that offers courses, tutorials, and webinars to IEEE members. Sir was also the 2006 chair of IEEE Publication Services and Product Board and a member of the IEEE Board of Directors. Sir has received several IEEE awards, including the 2000 IEEE Millennium Medal for Outstanding Achievements and Contributions to IEEE, the 2011 IEEE USA Professional Achievement Award, the 2012 IEEE PES Meritorious Service Award, and the 2013 IEEE PES Outstanding Power Engineering Educator Award. I welcome you today to this session, sir, and would now request you for the presidential address.
Dr. Ritika, for the kind introduction. I'm very happy to be here with you today on the IC India Council Day celebrations. I will start by sharing my screen, if I may.
Yes, sir. We have shared the presentation rights with you.
Okay, let me see. It's not happening yet.
Sir, along with the video option, there would be an arrow which says share.
I'm clicking on that share arrow. It's not picking up. I don't know why. So that's fine. I can just talk through my talk, not too many slides. First of all, I'm very happy to be here for two reasons. One is India Council is very active, very big, and very influential. Not only India, you give examples to other countries how things can be done. As you said, established in 1976, long time back. So this is a history. Also, I have been to Indicon. I gave a talk at Jamia Millia, in fact, Indicon some years back. And I will be happy to keep on this relationship. I'm coming to New Delhi in July for a one-day visit, and Dr. Ansari knows that. So I hope to see some of you there. Now, first of all, going back to my mission, when you talk about branding, what does branding mean? IEEE has a brand. If you look at the IEEE logo, you showed that already today once. IEEE say advancing technology for humanity. That's the logo. But to me, unless I give life to it, it doesn't mean much to the outside world. So I, in my activities here, took the mission, I give life to the slogan. What does advancing technology for humanity mean? That's my mission here. How am I doing this? Many of you have seen probably in other lectures, I have been very focused on climate change, very focused on climate change. In the climate change part, I have been very active. I think screen sharing is happening now, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
Make it full screen. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's the mission. Now, what have I done to give it life? Students ask me, what can they do to serve humanity, young generation? I say, I'll give you a cause along which or around which you'll create programs. So this is my mission. Promote clean tech solutions for climate sustainability. We are engineers, we are technologists. So what can we do to promote solar, wind, clean technologies so we can reduce carbon emissions and therefore help to protect the environment? That's the mission I have embarked upon. And with a lot of your help, we are making good progress. Here you go. This is our logo for climate change. We have established a website, a program, get to that in a few minutes. So what that means, climate change, enabling innovation and technology solutions. That's our mission. And I hope the India Council, the 13 sections, the members, leaders like yourselves would take that seriously and propagate this message. That's branding, right? Branding doesn't mean you put a slogan and forget about it. It's not a piece of paper and 3 or 4 words. It's a meat behind the brand. What does it mean? So that's, I hope, the mission here. What can we do? IEEE has many activities ongoing today under this brand, enabling innovation and technology solutions. That's where I am coming from. Example, I led the IEEE delegation to COP27 climate summit in Egypt last year. India had a big pavilion. To talk to that group in a few minutes. I gave a talk that we are providing simple solutions to fight climate change as engineers. That was published in IEEE Spectrum in the January issue. If the link is here, but you can go to the January issue of Spectrum and find it. The point is we have some role, some responsibility, and some commitment to bring our knowledge, our presence useful to society. That's where I am coming from. So COP27. In this conference, I saw many groups, pavilions talking about climate justice, climate finance, climate insurance, all that. Very few talked about technology. We were among the top or only 2 or 3 groups talk about technology. So I have a plea to you, India Council. India has a big presence in COP27, had COP28 Dubai, December this year, India will be there. So I would urge you, the section leaders, council leaders, to reach out to your Minister of Environment in New Delhi, Minister of Energy, and tell them IEEE would be happy to provide content from the perspective of technology solution that can be displayed in the India Pavilion, where it'll be visible to the visitors to the pavilion in Dubai in COP28 that Indian engineers, technologists, scientists are not only talking about it, are doing something about it. Please keep that in mind. That'll make you much more visible in the global space. So I gave a talk at the International Renewable Energy Agency Pavilion in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt last year. And my focus was IEEE's role in education, training, and research. Dr. Shivaji mentioned this briefly. So again, we have to go out. Yes, we do conferences, we publish papers, but we also reach out to humanity. Under that banner, advancing technology for humanity, we can do these things. As an example, I hope people like yourselves will take this as a mission to go forward. So coming close to home, IEEE is organizing the Sections Congress in Ottawa, Canada, August of this year. I'm sure there'll be some section leaders, maybe council leaders coming to this Sections Congress. I have organized to have a climate change pavilion at this Section Congress. Again, you see the slogan, enabling leaders to build a sustainable future. That's a slogan. That's a brand. How do you give life to the brand? This pavilion will have TV programs, shows, posters to do that. So I would hope the India Council will take this as an opportunity to promote what India Council is doing in the space of climate change. So some examples. To give life to our slogan, our brand, we built a climate change website. In fact, Dr. Minnie Thomas is a vice chair of one of the groups in this website, Minnie Thomas. Website address climate-change.ieee.org. Very simple, easy to remember. This has papers, information. It has topical data about climate change effects, and Dr. Minnie Thomas has given some contributions already in this. That's the website. If you want to know more, at the bottom of my screen is the email address, ccircc@ieee.org. If you have any questions, write to that address, and that comes to me. I'll be happy to answer those queries. There's the website. We also built a library called IEEE Climate Change Collection, or ICCC. We have put more than 7,000 journal articles on this website that deal with climate change. Use it as much as you can. It has also other content from other sources. The IEEE Climate Change Collection is already there. Finally, we are also looking at what I call ecosystem for IEEE's climate sustainable. What do you have to make climate sustainable? Our ecosystem for our work on sustainability. What is in there? We have publications like the 6-point I just mentioned. We have other groups within IEEE taking part in it. We have Standards Association, part of it. The Spectrum magazine is providing content to this place automatically. We also have a space for sponsored content. Some oil company, I see ad in the US. Oil company talks about renewable diesel, clean fuel, hydrogen. So we'll bring them as industry content to this, our ecosystem for climate sustainability. That's the way we give life to our slogan, how to advance technology for humanity. So this is where we are right now. So going forward, this is where I am going to stop, Ritika, and I would
Yes, sir.
be happy to move on. So let me stop sharing so that you can take over the control. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And before we move further, I would now request Professor M.N. Hoda, sir, to honor Professor Saifur Rahman, sir, with a small memento that we have today in this online session.
Sir, this memento is just for a purpose of remembrance that you have been part of this first ever celebrations of IEEE India Council by IEEE Delhi section. And it's part of the sustainability which we have been talking just now. So thank you so much, sir.
I remember this day for a long time because your
Yes.
celebration happens on our Eid day. I don't remember that day for a long time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Eid,
Thank you so
that's
much.
right.
Uttam, sir, can we share the memento? I think there has been a technical glitch.
Okay, ma'am, just give me
Just a minute.
Yes.
I can see it now. I
Yeah.
can see it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very nice.
Send me a PDF copy of this. I'll print and put
Oh,
in my office.
Oh, yes,
Send
sir.
me-
Yes, sir. We
We'll
are
just be
sending.
mailing it to you.
Right, sir.
Right. Thank you.
So thank you once again, sir. Thank you for the wonderful introduction to the works of IEEE in climate change. We are also privileged to have amongst us Professor K.K. Agarwal, former chairman, National Board of Accreditation, NBA, and former founder Vice Chancellor Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, New Delhi, as the chief guest gracing this occasion today. Professor Agarwal obtained his Bachelor of Engineering degree from Punjab University and Master's degree from NIT Kurukshetra. Later, Sir did his PhD from NIT Kurukshetra, and after a distinguished service of 27 years at NIT Kurukshetra, Sir served as Pro Vice Chancellor GJU Hisar for a period of 3 years, and then as Founder Vice Chancellor Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi, for a period of 10 years. Sir has been president of the Institution of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, IETE, President Computer Society of India, and President Southeast Asia Regional Computer Confederation for long periods. Sir has also published over 400 papers in reputed journals, about 50% of these in international journals of repute. He has been widely consulted by the industry, most notable being his contribution towards reliability analysis of PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Sir was conferred the honorary fellowship by the Broadcast Society of India, and he was decorated with the Lifetime Achievement Award by IETE and also by the Computer Society of India. Sir has been associated with the NBA in various capacities since its inception. He was the chairman before taking over as the chairman of NBA in 2019 and has just retired from his role with the NBA. But we always look up to Sir for all kinds of guidance. I would now invite Sir for a thematic talk to enlighten the participants today.
Thank you, Dr. Ritika, for the introduction as always. I think you have introduced me maybe a dozen times at least, and I'm so happy about it. Professor Saifur Rahman, President of IEEE USA. It's a proud moment for everybody else in India to see you here in the program as the President of IEEE. We recognize and salute your contributions to IEEE. Professor Sivaji Chakravarti, former chair IEEE India Council. My good friend Professor Ansari, chairperson of IEEE Delhi section and professor of Jamia Millia Islamia, has been helping me on various occasions in the academic pursuits in the country. I'm so grateful to him. And Professor M.N. Hoda, who I think has conducted maybe hundreds of programs, and I have the good fortune to be there in at least a dozen of them, and I'm so happy to see the programs and being a part of this program of IEEE India Council Day celebrations, which I understand is being celebrated for the first time. But President Ansari told that it will be a regular feature hands-on. So I wish President Ansari and all his team in IEEE all the very best to ensure that we do have this day celebrated every year, because such celebrations help us to revise and refresh our memories as to what the council has done and what we can do for the future. Well, as far as my personal association with IEEE, except for the fact that I have about maybe 30 publications in various transactions of IEEE, and was also the guest editor for IEEE transactions on reliability for one issue, which was on status of reliability on Indian subcontinent, and came to IEEE for receiving the guest editor award. And for my memory, refreshing my memory, that was my very first visit to USA in 1982. So I'm so sort of nostalgic with this association with IEEE India Council again today, and particularly meet Professor Saifur Rahman, at least virtually. Having said that, friends, the topic which you have chosen for today, a role of branding for a professional society. I think the word branding will have to be looked at slightly differently than has been traditionally looked at from the point of view of a product, and then from the point of view of an organization even. The word brand started with a product's brand, and there was time when any soft drink was addressed as Coca-Cola. That was the kind of brand we used. Any toothpaste was addressed as Colgate. So that was the kind of fashion of branding which was there all over the world, including in India. And then gradually branding became a very scientific pursuit, and we had the branding associated with the institutions also. Well, I won't like to go into the merits and demerits of branding because at times over branding has its own issues, but we don't go into that in this short session for 20 minutes. But talking about professional societies' role for branding and otherwise today in these few minutes, every professional society in society is important for the profession itself, but maybe little biased. I think IEEE has an edge over all other societies today in the present context of scenario in the world. Whether you talk about connectivity, whether you talk about digitalization, whether you talk about IoT, whether you talk about regenerative AI, I mean, all these concepts ultimately get very heavily connected to at least one of the IEEE transactions or journals, and many times more than one. So therefore, I feel very safe in stating that the present status of profession vis-a-vis any other professions belongs to the professions covered by the spectrum of IEEE, and that makes me further very happy, and also my job easy because branding in a way is already done by the society. The society has already branded IEEE in that sense because its importance over any other society is almost established in that sense. I again repeat, pardon me for being biased, as one is always to his profession. I'm also happy that the today's event is being organized in collaboration with several other groups and societies, and that has been something very, very lovable and likable for IEEE and many events of Professor Hoda, that we try to network many societies or many institutions come together and celebrate something. I think that itself gives a great feeling and a great opportunity for branding. Friends, in the history, professional societies were created primarily to have a fraternity feeling amongst the persons of the same profession, to chat together, to discuss the professional issues together, professional ethics together, and the professional developments together, thereby, number one, ensuring the fraternity feeling, and number two, making collaboration and cooperation easier than otherwise. And to that extent, most of the professional societies, or many of the professional societies, have been quite successful in the world as well as in India. My experience for professional societies practically confined to Indian societies. I have been national president for IETE and also the national president of Computer Society of India. At the beyond the nation level, I mean, I have been president of Southeast Asian Regional Computer Confederation, which is a society, umbrella society for 12 computer societies in the world. And working in all these capacities, I have felt that these societies are doing wonderfully well, but there is always a scope for more. And in the present domain, present time of the rate of change of the knowledge, I think these societies also have to work much more and much more faster to ensure their relevance to the society as a whole, because these societies owe not only to their profession, but to the society as a whole. I also believe that many of the things which will go into the branding of a professional society will be intangible and therefore may not be directly measurable immediately at least, but the impact will be measured sooner or later. And therefore, even if I can't see the results today or tomorrow, even if I have to wait for years to see the results, I think it's a duty for all of us in the profession to continue serving the society in our societies in as best possible as we can. Friends, having said that, I believe while it's impossible to list the challenges in front of any professional society today, but I believe that some of them, these could be, number one, to cope up with the fast change, which is unprecedented at present. There's no denial to the fact that the rate of change today is unprecedented, and therefore, any curriculum limited education, in any part of the world, will not be enough to take care of those changes. Professions collaboration will have to come in to supplement the knowledge domain of any graduate in any part of the world. Number two, to come out of the traditional discipline boundaries and encourage diversity in all its forms. All over the world, we see that love for your own discipline grows. The multidisciplinarity and interdisciplinarity has been there to various extent in various countries. Some countries it will be little more and some countries little less. But nonetheless, I personally believe that the degree of multidisciplinarity we require is still far away in any part of the world, and definitely quite a low level in India so far. And unless we go multidisciplinary, we cannot solve life's problems. Professor Saifur Rahman gave a very interesting presentation on climate change. And imagine, I think 10 years before, even just 10 years before, people would have felt what technology and particularly IEEE technologies have to do with climate change. But today we do understand and grasp and appreciate that computer science, information technology, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, all these domains are so important to climate change and sustainability, which is impossible without the contribution of those domains. So this, I can see this change happened in just about 2 decades in an appreciable scale. And therefore, Professor Saifur Rahman sharing that presentation today's evening gives a sense of direction to IEEE India Council that we have to ensure that all our engineers are sensitive to society and sustainability. And now I think the concept which we were finding very difficult to sell, that development and sustainability are not two opposite poles, has come to be recognized. That we can have development with sustainability and vice versa. And therefore, the most difficult part of the issue has been mentally resolved to a good extent. And therefore, to keep working in that in a more consolidated fashion is easier and has to be done. And I, as Chairman, National Board of Accreditation, in the meeting of the Washington Accord, where 21 countries are there, including USA, Canada, Australia, etc., etc. So they have suggested that creativity and sustainability should be incorporated as two essential graduate attributes of every engineering discipline all over the world, because that is something which is needed and has to be ensured. We also believe that somewhere down the line, we also have to take care that engineers are able administrators at the end and make the public appreciate the same. Because many a times I've been listening, of course, not now, the things again have been taken good care of in the last few years, but nonetheless, I have earlier been listening to this, well, engineers are engineers, they cannot be good administrators, but now people do realize, and I can conform this with the simple observation when I see too many engineering friends occupying the position of at least academic leaders as vice chancellors in Indian universities. Even in the general universities, which are not technical universities, many engineers are now leading them and leading them successfully. And that makes me feel great that engineering friends can be great administrators also. And I believe this is again an aspect which will have to be branded, number one. Number two, accelerated and expedited if required further. Friends, with these challenges, I also believe that what can the professional societies do further to raise their brand, and which I see in a larger perspective to make themselves more relevant to the society as a whole. We have all recognized now that the classroom teaching or learning is a very small component of the total learning process. Much of the learning happens outside the classroom, and that is where the professional societies have a much greater role to play in collaboration with academic institutions in their respective vicinity to make sure that they are more useful and they make the younger generation potentially more useful for the society. Because what took us so far may not be enough to take the younger generation that far. They will have to be acquiring many more attributes to ensure that they come that far. And that is where the role of professional societies, according to me, is very, very important to make better industrial connect, to make better way of working. See, in the universities, you learn how to work, what to work, but out of the several options, which is a better way of working, in a short time, I can't narrate incidences, but we have had incidences where a very high dose of academic content was not able to solve the problem, but a simple gut feel was able to solve the problem. And that is what you learn by profession. I also believe that the role of ethics will have to be emphasized to the graduates. And again, the persons who have worked in the profession for decades together are the best examples to illustrate how they came across situations where they could work ethically and take us forward. Friends, by my experience as Chairman National Board of Accreditation in the country, I also believe that a very strong component of accreditation must be taken up by professional societies, because ultimately we produce engineers for the profession, and the senior members of professional society should be able to evaluate the things much better. I believe there is some part of it being done all over the world, but much more has to be done all over the world, and even in much more in India. Friends, I also believe that some very revolutionary topics arise for discussion these days at very fast speed, and most of the discussion centers around the originators of those systems or those products. And therefore, much of the discussion is biased towards that product or that company. Now, for the public at large to have a fair view of any new concept, if I name regenerative AI, ChatGPT, it has created a revolution in just last few months. And if you look at any product, and you will have to read in between the lines whether the content is by the inventor company or otherwise. So again, I think professional societies will be needed to guide the society as a whole about these very fast emerging technologies and the role which is being assigned to them. I mean, yesterday we were talking AI could be a boon for the society, and today we are also talking that AI could be a very great curse for the society. Yesterday we were talking that data science could be a great revolution. Today I read an article where say ChatGPT may replace data scientists at a very fast speed. Now, with these kinds of contradictory scenarios, the role of independent professional societies will be very, very important. And I remember my own role as president of Computer Society of India, which I had to play very strongly when the proprietary product vis-a-vis open source product debate came into this country. And we as Computer Society of India had to play a role in that. Friends, I also believe that the time has come where all practicing engineers must be registered. This is a practice in some countries to some degree, but I believe this should become most common, rather a mandatory requirement, so that we know who can do what. I also believe that the professional societies should also handhold the institutions, particularly in India, because we have many institutions which require handholding by experienced professionals, which many colleges can ill afford to hire. But people in the professional societies I have come across are always eager to give help without any expectations or without much expectations. I think that part of the story must be explored much better and see how we can take it forward. Finally, friends, I believe professional societies must synergize their own efforts and collaborate amongst themselves to such a manner that they can jointly serve the societies much better. No single discipline can solve real problems, and therefore, no single discipline society will also be able to carry the things forward. So, we should have much more such activities where many societies come together and take up issues like climate change, energy problem, drinking water problem, so on and so forth, which cannot be done for any other single society. I also believe and request, take this opportunity to request my colleagues in this meeting that country-specific requirements must be kept in view as a focus area. For example, we would need many areas of triple E discipline for our agriculture, for our manufacturing, for our healthcare, for our education technologies. I mean, it gives me great pleasure to find that the most eminent doctors of the country, which earlier never talked about the technology, have now gone on record that if rural healthcare has to become a reality, technology has to be adopted. And I think this is an opportunity for all of us, therefore, to brand our society by taking up the work which is most relevant, which is most meaningful, and which is most outcome based to the society at large. And I wish the deliberations all the very best, and hope every year the society will, this India Council will come up with something to deliberate on very strongly. In any way, they are doing excellent work in India, which I have been seeing from time to time. I'm grateful to Professor Hota and other office bearers to give me an opportunity to be a part of this great friends, professional friends gathering. And thank you all for the same. Over to Ritika to continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the enlightening deliberation on the role of branding for professional societies and how professional societies should take it up. Before we move further, I would now request M.N. Huda sir to honor Professor K.K. Agarwal sir with a small e memento we have.
This memento is again as a part of remembrance, sir, that no program, no special occasion which we organize can be complete without your talk, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Very
you so
true,
much.
very true, very true. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I also request sir to honor Dr. Shivaji Chakravarti sir with a small e memento.
So, Dr. Shivaji Chakravarti, it was sheer pleasure having you. And in fact, India Council celebration was your program, which we have been celebrating and taking part and getting that opportunity
Thank
right
you.
at
Thanks a
IEEE
lot.
Delhi.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir, and thank you to all the dignitaries. Before we move further, I'm sure today's insightful session has enlightened the participants about the work of IEEE. There are some questions by the participant, which I'd like to now take up with your permission, sir.
Please go ahead.
One question I can see from a few participants. Climate change is a big concern and is directly challenging the existence of humanity in the present time. IEEE is doing a commendable work, as Rahman sir had introduced. However, IEEE work does not come for free. It comes with a cost. So does IEEE have any special plans for these social topics that are a global concern, especially in countries like India?
I think Professor Saifur Rahman is here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Please, sir, please respond.
That's great.
let me let me respond. As I said, we are open to the outside world with our content. We release this IEEE Climate Change Collection Library, which can be seen by anybody from any university, and also some open public domain content is there too. That's number one. Number two, we have a climate change program. We are recruiting people from all over the world. In fact, Dr. Minnie Thomas is a member of the committee. So she will tell the India Council how this person and the others can be actively engaged with our climate change program. So I am open. I come from Bangladesh. It's not a rich country like you. You are richer than Bangladesh. But point is, I can understand it's difficult for people to pay the high expensive dues to become part of it. That is why we dropped the student membership dues as like $10, very cheap right now for that very reason. If a student, member very easily and get access to a lot of IEEE content. So small answer is be active, connect to India Council. They have resources through their membership. Become IEEE member, student member if you're a student, and be active. I said to many people, I get more pleasure in giving than taking, receiving. So give your time, give your knowledge to your friends and colleagues, and we'll be happy to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful information. I'm sure this will help many participants take cue from IEEE's work and collaborate further. With this, I would now invite Professor M.N. Huda, sir, Executive Chairperson, Vice IEEE Delhi Section and Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management, BVI CAM, New Delhi, to propose the vote of thanks.
So at the outset, let me take this opportunity to wish a very happy Eid and Akshaya Tritiya to all my friends in India and abroad as well. Today's occasion has been a very novel occasion. In the very first ever celebration of IEEE India Council, we had the privilege of having Professor Saifur Rahman, the very our own president of IEEE, and he has been so kind to immediately say yes to our invitation, and he has graced the occasion. Thank you so much, sir. The topic which you have introduced today, yes, Professor Agarwal has also very rightly said that maybe around 2 decades ago, if people would be talking like this, the people would ask the second question, what engineers has to do in this. But now probably the maximum contribution in this climate change, the engineers are introducing. And that's how we also in the webinar, the certificates and the mementos have been shifted to e-memento and e-certificates at the same time, the e-booking. So thank you so much, sir. Your presence and your input which you have given in this discussion will go a long way and will certainly motivate many of us to take up the challenges which are coming in our day-to-day life because of the climate change. Thank you so much. We request you, you are there in the July in Delhi. We request you to have an interactive session in Delhi, right, in face-to-face mode. Thank you so much for being here, sir. And Dr. Shivaji Chakravarti, in fact, IEEE India Council, when we got an idea that we have to celebrate, we were over happy, over enthusiastic. And finally, when you were part of it, in fact, you have witnessed it, and that was a kind of sheer pleasure for all of us. Professor K.K. Agrawal, sir, as I said, my no program, no special occasion can be complete without the guidance, the blessings, and the final words of Professor K.K. Agrawal, sir. He, Professor Ansari has in beginning only said that if in our country we want to find one academician, one technologist, one fatherly figure, we have no other name but Professor K.K. Agrawal, sir.
Thank
And
you so much.
the kind of the beauty with him that the moment I request him, whatever is the day, whichever is the time, how engaged he is, but he never says no to me. And there are many such occasions which I can count, but today's time and today's occasion doesn't allow me to do that. So every time, in all respect, he keeps on supporting us in such a positive way that you go and discuss any problem with sir, he will give you immediate and quick solution, and that solution is in such a way that that will become very sustainable solution, very useful solutions, and
Thank you so much.
solutions outcome driven. And my friends, to IEEE and to technologists, my always message is that ओ टेक्नोलॉजी के मुसाफिर तुम्हें अभी बहुत दूर जाना है ओ टेक्नोलॉजी के मुसाफिर तुम्हें अभी बहुत दूर जाना है पत्थरों पे चिराग खिलाना है और आंधियों में पत्थरों पे गुलाब खिलाना है और आंधियों में चिराग जलाना
आग
है
जलाना है वाह वाह वाह
that is the kind of the challenge before all of us. At this moment, it may be little difficult to imagine that पत्थर पे चिराग खिल सकता है, पत्थर पे गुलाब खिल सकता है और आंधियों में चिराग जल सकता है. ये थोड़ा मुश्किल दिख रहा होगा. But technology in coming days probably will prove it. That's how we believe, and that's how we futuristic people imagine in that. IEEE has been very dear to all of us. We have passionately been working for IEEE activities. We have passionately been participating in that. And that's how I always say that यही है जुनून मेरा, यही है शौक मेरा. IEEE के साथ हम क्या करना चाहते हैं? जहाँ डिफिकल्टी दिखती है वहाँ IEEE को लेकर पहुँचते हैं कि यही है जुनून मेरा, यही है शौक मेरा, चिराग वहाँ जला दें जहाँ है अंधेरा. So thank you so much. That is what is the message of IEEE. Let's work for the humanity. Let's ensure that the technology should go down to the people so that the quality of life on the planet should become better and better. That is the beauty of the technology. If we keep technology in the four walls of some offices or keep technology on the shelf in the library books or journals, probably the benefit of the technology to the masses will not reach. That is the purpose of the technology. And with this, would like to conclude this, that this all what we have deliberated here, this all what we have discussed here is primarily to bring light from darkness. It primarily to bring knowledge from ignorance. And the darkness and the knowledge, the light and the kind of the dark environment has very aptly been analogized by a poet that उजाले अपनी आंखों में महफूज कर लो, means keep power of knowledge. उजाले means light, रोशनी. So keep power of knowledge as integral part of your personality. So उजाले अपनी आंखों में महफूज कर लो, because in absence of knowledge there will be huge challenges because of the darkness. So keep power of knowledge as part of your personality so that the challenges which will be coming in our day-to-day life can be faced upfront gracefully and in a more better way. So उजाले अपनी आंखों में महफूज कर लो, बड़ी दूर तक रात ही रात होगी, मुसाफिर हो तुम भी, मुसाफिर हैं हम भी, किसी मोड़ पे फिर मुलाकात होगी. And thank you so much. Wish you all the best. God bless you all. Keep safe, keep happy, and keep learning. That is the motto of this webinar series, which we have started way back in the backdrop of the COVID-19 and in June 2020. And by now we have conducted close to 370 webinars, 70 plus webinars. And all video recording of this webinar through the WebEx is available at the portal, at the YouTube portal, which many of people are referring, and close to 2.5 lakhs views we have received on that portal. So that shows that the messages which we are trying to pass on through these technical lectures are going deep in the society, and those people who are attending and those people who are not attending because of XYZ complications and difficulties, they refer our sessions afterwards, and that's how 2.5 lakhs plus the views we have received. So thank you so much. We'll meet next time, and that's how I always say कि हर सैटरडे हम शाम को मिलते हैं, जिसके लिए 2 पंक्तियां लिखी हैं कि फूलों की तरह फिर खिलेंगे हम, फूलों की तरह फिर खिलेंगे हम, और अगले सैटरडे चैट जीपीटी के लेक्चर के साथ फिर मिलेंगे हम. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. God bless you all.
Thank
Over
you.
to you,
Thank
Dr.
you,
You
sir.
are not only a good engineer, you're a good poet as well. Nice meeting you.
Very true.
I don't know to which extent, sir, you understood, but you are
Yes,
from
I follow
Bangladesh,
Hindi.
must be
I
knowing a
follow
little
Hindi.
bit of
I know.
Hindi and Urdu.
No, he speaks Urdu, Hindi very well. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm a product of Aligarh Muslim University, and I always say that being a student of computer science, that is my profession. But having my interest in literature is part of my passion. So I never leave my hobby and passion apart. So I always try to connect my passion with my profession. So that's what keeps me alive and keeps me always happy and keeps me ready for the work. Thank you so much, sir.
Impressed meeting you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. Take care, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, I thank all our distinguished panelists and participants who have continuously supported us through this webinar and made this first Council Day celebrations a success. A big thank you to all of you who have joined us today on this auspicious day. The feedback form link for the certificate of participation generation has already been shared with all the participants. Over 150 certificates have already been successfully generated. I can see the number of my participants is continuously reducing. I request participants kindly ensure you fill the certificate, you fill the feedback form carefully so that no mistake goes into your certificate. Because once you fill the feedback form and submit it, you will not be able to submit the same once again. So kindly ensure you fill in the feedback form carefully. You do not make any mistakes. In case any participant is not finding their certificate even after submitting the feedback form, they are requested to share their email address with all the panelists in the chat window. We are there to help you out with your certificate. Please do not leave this meeting room till the time you do not receive your certificate of participation in your inbox. Once you receive the same, you can acknowledge in the chat window and you can leave the meeting room with a promise to join us back next week, next Saturday, with another webinar of ours on another upcoming technology. This next week, it's going to be ChatGPT. So thank you all dear participants. Please collect your certificate of participation by submitting the feedback form before you